Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 12 of NWA Chicago, episode number 10 of Main Event Showcase. So, this episode is going to be a little different because, as you might be able to tell from looking at the screen, the show is no longer held on Fridays and shown on Fridays. We have a new structure, a new TV deal with ESPN. I altered our time slot from graveyard shift to on demand because there's a higher viewership there, and with that, I made an according move to stop holding the events on Friday and pre-tape them on Tuesday to show them on Friday. And that is for a multitude of different reasons, one being that a lot of my top talent just signed touring deals with New Japan, and that really messes up a lot of things for me. So I had to put it on Tuesday, because Tuesdays are the days that most of my talent is available. Some Tuesdays, all of my talent is available, so I just have to cross my fingers that New Japan doesn't need my talent on Tuesdays. So that's what we're going with. We did technically miss a week of Main Event Showcase because there was no episode the Friday, the week of All In. However, we did have All In that week, so it's all good. We still technically had a show. So this event comes on the heels of All In. What will happen? If you need a quick refresher, Cody Rhodes won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Tenille Dashwood won the NWA World Women's Championship. Joe Hendry retained the TV Championship. And the Motor City Machine Guns debuted and won the Tag Team Championships. There was also multiple other matches and angles that took place on the show. Go back and watch the previous episode if you want to see those, because we're going to jump right into this episode of Main Event Showcase here, so let's do it. The show opens with Billy Corgan in the ring, and he says, "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NWA Main Event Showcase. I wanted to personally come out here and thank all of you for making NWA All In such a massive success. And I wanted to thank all the men and women in the back for putting on such a great show. But now, we have to look ahead to the future. What's in the cards for NWA Chicago? I'm happy to share with you all that this December, NWA Chicago will be reviving Starrcade. I'm also happy to announce that tonight, we will start what I call the Starrcade Classic, a 16-man tournament to name the number one contender to the NWA World Heavyweight Championship at Starrcade. Tonight we will see a first-round matchup of Nick Aldis and David Starr. Now, let's get to it. 28 E+ for Billy Corgan here as he begins the show. One thing I would like to say is I'm highly dissatisfied with Billy Corgan as an on-air authority figure because he is not over and he also does not have promo skills, so that results in these 28E very low ratings for his segments. I really wish he was over and had microphone skills because he is the owner. It would make sense for him to be the on-screen authority figure, but I may have to bring in an outside on-screen authority figure because although I try to not use the authority figure often, you still need the authority figure to be there every so often to do announcements like this, because this is a lot different coming from an authority figure than it would be Matt Stryker on commentary. Now, I want to jump into the Starrcade Classic tourney bracket. So this is what it looks like. These are your 16 competitors competing in the Starrcade Classic. Rob Van Dam, Argenis, Flip Gordon, Sammy Guevara, Scott Steiner, Big Guy, Ethan Page, and Joe Hendry round out the top half of the bracket. And the bottom half of the bracket includes David Starr, Nick Aldis, Brian Pillman Jr., Tyler Bate, Colin Delaney, JT Dunn, Pete Dunn, and Ross Von Erich. So hopefully the bracket is not obvious as to what is going to happen with these matches. I tried to make it not too obvious, but obviously there's some stronger competitors facing some weaker competitors in the first round. You might be able to pace that out, but let's see what happens. Please submit your predictions right now as to who you think will be the finals, who will be the matchup of the finals for the Starrcade Classic. Which two competitors will it be, and which competitor do you think will wind up winning the Starrcade Classic and headlining Starrcade against whomever the NWA World Heavyweight Champion is at the time, whether it is Cody or someone else. Nobody knows, not even I know. I don't even know who's going to win the Starrcade Classic yet, but we will find out. So now, let's get back to the show. So we get into our first match of the night. It is a tag team match, and the bout has subpar wrestling and little heat. The Siren Portal defeated the Von Erichs in 15:42, when Ophidian defeated Marshall Von Erich by submission with a death grip. Upper 40s for both of the Osiris Portal, lower 30s for both of the Von Erichs. This was an interesting spot. I considered burying the Von Erichs here because Odinson was hurt last week at Ross Von Erich or Marshall Von Erich, I think, hurt Odinson last week on Main Event Showcase, or 2 weeks ago now, I guess, on Main Event Showcase with a botch. So I considered burying them. I decided not to, gave them the benefit of the doubt. And they put up a decent match here. 43D, I'm decently happy with that. So let's move on. Pete Dunne enters the NWA arena with a microphone, and he says, "Ever since All In, people have only been asking me one thing. Why, Pete? Why'd you come to NWA Chicago and cost Tyler Bate the NWA World Television Championship? It's quite simple, really. I already made my intentions clear. I'm here to make Tyler Bate's life a living hell. Tyler and I are natural enemies. Since our careers began, some say we're destined to fight forever. Every company I've worked for, Tyler has followed me. So every company he's worked for, I've followed him. Tyler always wants to be in the limelight. He needs the spotlight shown on him. He has to be the center of attention. But me, I'm just satisfied beating the hell out of young Tyler." 24E for Pete Dunne as he delivers his explanation for coming to NWA Chicago. It is to make Tyler Bate's life a living hell. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, as I said at All In, is just honestly the rivalry of this generation, the rivalry that's going to continue for this generation, and I think when all is said and done, it will be one of the greatest rivalries of all time. Hopefully, fingers crossed. If it is, you can quote me on that. If it's not, don't quote me on that. In a terrible match, Scarlett Bordeaux defeated Alexia Nicole in 9:24 by pinfall with a diving crossbody. This match earned a 29E. Flip Gordon did some good work at ringside. If you'll remember at All In, Flip Gordon and Scarlett Bordeaux met backstage, and Flip Gordon's kind of mentoring Scarlett Bordeaux. She's his #1 fan, and he's kind of become her teacher. 29 for Alexia Nicole, 25 for Scarlett Bordeaux. Not a terrible match for Scarlett Bordeaux's first match in NWA Chicago. Kind of wanted to use this match as a feeler to see how she'd perform, but as we all know, you can't trust the very first match a competitor has. You need to look at their second and maybe third matches to see how they really perform. So, all in all, I'm happy with the debut of Scarlett Bordeaux, the in-ring debut of Scarlett Bordeaux here. After the match, Flip Gordon slides into the ring and raises Scarlett's hand. So this is obviously just to further the little mentorship thing that they have going on, whatever it really is. Flip Gordon struggles going off script, but Scarlett Bordeaux clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off script and performed well. 31E plus. This is the challenge here, is that Flip isn't going to do well without a script, but Scarlett Bordeaux doesn't want to use a script, so I'll have to figure something out. Next segment. In a terrible match, Joe Hendry defeated Greg Glover in 12:56 by pinfall with a trip around the globe. Joe Hendry makes defense number 2 of his NWA World Television title. I want to give someone a little different an NWA TV title match here, and Greg Glover, I feel like, was excellent. He was a perfect choice for this because he hasn't really gotten to showcase his skills as a singles talent. He actually outperforms Joe Hendry in this match, 28-29. The match gets a 31E plus. I'm not super happy with Joe Hendry as the television title, but at the same time, I feel like the television title is something I'm going to use to elevate a talent and isn't really something that I expect the talent to elevate. The NWA World Heavyweight Championship, I expect the talent to elevate that title. I expect Cody to take that title to a new level. Whoever's holding that title to take it to a new level. But I expect the NWA TV Championship to maybe elevate the talent to a new level. So I'm going to use it as a way to help get someone over. Hopefully. We'll see. I don't know. Joe Hendry didn't perform too well there. We'll see about it. Leia Vandale makes her entrance, and she says, guess who? That's right. Leia Vandale's in the building. And despite being the newest woman on the NWA roster, I'm already the greatest. I'm the most talented. I'm the hottest. And at All In, I should have won. That #1 contenders, Tessa Blanchard, makes her entrance onto the stage, I can't spell apparently, and she says, Leia, honey, you ain't shit. You want to come out here and run your mouth? You should prove it in the ring. We're both new here, but I promise you, if you step in that ring with me, you'll know you're nowhere near the best woman on this roster. Because me, Tessa Blanchard, I'm a diamond. And you, Leia Vandale, you're just dirt. So there we go. Both women's official debuts. They were both in the number 1 contenders battle royal, but here we get a promo from each woman, 28E, and it appears as though they will be having a match next week, Leia Vandale versus Tessa Blanchard. Let's see how that goes next week. But for now, we have a decent match in which Taiji Ishimori debuts in NWA Chicago and defeats Kushida in 10:42 by pinfall with a 450 splash, 55 C-. Super happy with this match. They had great chemistry and it showed in their performance. 49 for Kushida, 57 for Taiji Ishimori. I'm so happy with this one. So I wanted to find a way to give Taiji Ishimori an impactful debut in NWA Chicago. Haha, pun there. Impactful debut for Taiji Ishimori, who just debuted in Impact a couple weeks ago. Ha 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 ha. Well, I don't know how many weeks ago now at this point, because I'm taping these well in advance. This is literally the week after Bound for Glory that I'm taping this. But Taiji Ishimori, I wanted to give him an impactful debut, and a match with Kushida I feel like was definitely a way he could make an impression on our fans and get rated very highly here. I wanted to give him a promo maybe, but Taiji Ishimori doesn't speak English, so I might have to find a manager for Taiji Ishimori, or just let his in-ring work do the talking for him, or develop a brutal character for him. I don't know, we'll see what happens, but Taiji Ishimori definitely performs incredibly well here. Very impressed with his debut. In a decent match, Nick Aldis defeated David Starr in 13:43 by submission, 46D for the match, 53 for Nick Aldis, and a 31 for David Starr. So, I mean, it was pretty obvious that Nick Aldis was going to win in round 1. He beats David Starr. It was just a question of who do I want Nick Aldis to go over, and I feel like David Starr was a good option. He's a guy who's a younger guy on our roster that I maybe have some future plans for, and so this gives him some main event exposure. He faces one of our top guys, Nick Aldis. It gets more eyes on him. He learns the main event style. He improves a little bit. Let's see if there were any worker improvements. There were no worker improvements, but he gains some knowledge here. So obviously Nick Aldis goes over David Starr. So mark that down on your brackets. I will update the bracket and have it in the next episode for obviously before the next tournament matchup. But a 46D here, I'm decently happy with that. And after the match, Nick Aldis grabs a microphone and he says, "This company is a disgrace. Billy Corgan is a disgrace. And Cody, as the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, is a disgrace. Billy Corgan and Cody have colluded to screw me out of my NWA World Heavyweight Championship at All In. It is a conspiracy against me. Do you want further proof? I was not even approached about a rematch for my championship. Instead, I have to compete in this ridiculous tournament to try and obtain a rematch. I ask you all, how is this fair and proper treatment? I expect, nay, I demand better from this company." So he's getting booed. He's obviously delivering a heel promo here, and the crowd is booing him, and he says, "Don't boo me. I'm correct. Cody, you're probably on top of the world right now. You just won your father's championship. You're the shiny new toy for Billy and these fans. But just wait till the shine wears off and see how quickly you're cast aside, just like they're doing to me." 62C for Nick Aldis. He worked the crowd well, improvised well. Angle got the crowd hotter. Happy with that there. Nick Aldis, heel promo, calling his shot that he is going to win the tournament. That's something I forgot to write in there. Didn't really have enough space. But he calls his shot that he's going to win the tournament, and he's going to face Cody in a rematch for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship at Starrcade. But now we go to Cody and Brandy enter the NWA arena for a championship celebration ceremony. There's balloons, there's confetti that rains down when he gets to the ring, and he says, "Thank you all." Who would have thought, right? Here I stand, the grandson of a plumber, as the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Just like my father before me. The first second generation NWA World Heavyweight Champion in history. But that's just what I've done. The future's bright. I have the chance to be the best NWA World Heavyweight Champion in history. I plan on defending this championship with the utmost respect until this title's removed from my cold, dead hands. And let me assure you, I'm not just some flash in the pan. I'm going to defend this championship. I'm going to bring this title, my father's brainchild, into Starrcade. And I'm going to beat the Starrcade Classic winner. The Prince of the NWA is here. The Prince has won his crown. And the Prince will put down anyone who challenges his rule. 59C in this excellent promo here from Cody to end the show. He is the Prince. He has his celebration ceremony, his coronation ceremony. And I'm looking forward to the reign of Cody Rhodes as NWA World Heavyweight Champion. I have to admit, I'm very excited about this. He's one of the best guys, I think, in my opinion, right now to have as the face of your company. Cody Rhodes, whatever you want to call him. Fantastic. 59C for his segment. And now for the show, I think that we got a pretty solid D, because we had the Ishimori match, we had Aldis and Cody's promos, which definitely helped the show. So I'm going to say that we got at least a D, perhaps a D+, and if I'm feeling ambitious, I might call a low C-, but I don't think that's likely. I'm going to say we got a low D+ here. And we got a D+. Called it. We used Marshall Von Erich too much on the show, but it increased our popularity in 18 regions. I'm very happy about that. So one thing that I haven't really told you guys about is we keep losing the monthly regional battle because Lucha Underground, NXT, all those other smaller companies, I think even Impact, they have such great top talent that they're consistently beating us out. They have short 1-hour shows where their talent isn't exposed. They don't have to put as much lower tier talent on the show. I unfortunately have an 1.5-hour show. I could cut it down. I've considered cutting it down to only an hour show, but I feel like that's not being true to myself. I really want the 1.5-hour show. I want to develop all this talent, and it's costing me in the regional battle. It is stunting our growth a little bit, but I think in the end it's going to be well worth it. So now we're going to simulate a few days and see how well this did on television. Alright, so that episode of NWA Main Event Showcase was held, as always, in the NWA Arena. Why can't I fucking talk? Alright, so that episode of NWA Main Event Showcase was held, as always, in the NWA Arena in Chicago, Illinois, in front of 1,644 fans. On television, I got a .06 rating, which is 49,990 viewers, our highest viewership for an episode of Main Event Showcase. It was held on ESPN. Obviously, it's on demand now. Got a 48D+. And one thing that I am going to do from now on is it is now going to go on demand on Tuesdays, because it was a bit of a pain in the ass to wait till Friday to see what our viewership was, to record that, so we're just going to release it on Tuesday right after the event happens. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next episode for lucky episode number 13. See you guys there.